Grady, osteopath, and I'm going to explain to you bony landmarking of the shoulder girdle. So we start off here at the sternum, manubrium here at the top of the sternum, and here you've got the interclavicular region here. We've got your interclavicular ligaments and your sternoclavicular ligaments, which will secure this area. This is your sternoclavicular joint, and if this ever gets dislocated, it's usually medially and superior, and there'll be an asymmetry between left versus right. And here you've got your clavicle or collarbone, and it runs across here. You'll have muscles which attach to the superior and inferior aspect of it, so you can get access to the anterior aspect of the clavicle on most people. The platysma muscle attaches to it. That's the kind of frog's neck here that goes from your mandible down onto the superior aspect of your clavicle. Run across about 4/5 of the way across the clavicle and drop down and press in, and you get this tender, bony, finger-like protrusion that comes from the anterior aspect of your scapula, and that's called the coracoid process. The coracoid process is an attachment point for muscles and ligaments. The muscles would be your short head of your biceps, your coracobrachialis, and also your pec minor, which goes onto your third, fourth, and fifth rib and protracts the shoulder. You've got some key ligaments here which keep the collarbone down, which be your conoid, your trapezoid, and your acromioclavicular ligament across here. So moving laterally slightly, then you're on to the AC joint here like that. So this is a common joint for arthritis or osteoarthritis. It's one of the first joints that will get early osteoarthritis. Usually be very tender to touch, and if you have inflammation or arthritis in the AC joint, usually the scarf test when you adduct the shoulder joint and flex the shoulder, you'll get pain here, or usually in the last 20 degrees of shoulder adduction up here at the top, you'll get a pinch in the AC joint. This joint can separate usually and it fall to the shoulder if the collarbone doesn't fracture, and it can pop up. You move along here and you're on to what's called the acromion. The acromion process is part of the scapula here, and you'll get some of your rotator cuff muscles passing underneath it here, so your supraspinatus, your infraspinatus, and they will attach onto the greater tubercle here on the shoulder joint, which I'll show you in a moment. The acromion sometimes can be downsloping. If it's a downsloping acromion, it can cause impingement. You'll see that in an MRI sometimes, or you might get an osteophyte on it where you get subacromial impingement, which could be impingement of the supraspinatus or the infraspinatus, the subacromial bursa. It all reduces that space. So someone with subacromial impingement, when they raise the arm or abduct the arm like that, when they get to about 60 to 120, you get this pinch and soreness in here. So that would be like shoulder impingement. It's called a painful arc. Jumping down onto here, you've got your greater tubercle or greater tuberosity. That's an attachment point for your infraspinatus and supraspinatus here like that. And it's kind of a bony point on the humeral head. You jump in here into the bicipital groove. That's where the long head of your bicep runs through like that, right up into the labrum, into the back of the shoulder. If that is tender, some people tend to friction it and rub it. It has a thin synovial sheet over it. This usually irritates it and aggravates it, so I wouldn't be a kind of a fan of that. That's your bicipital groove. Just moving slightly medially is your lesser tubercle, which is an attachment point for your pec minor in here, and your subscapularis, which is the muscle on the part of the rotator cuff on the anterior portion of your scapula, which runs across to there and is an internal or a medial rotator of the shoulder. So that's all the stuff on the anterior and kind of lateral portion of the shoulder. So we'll spin this guy around and we'll come off the acromion process again here, and we'll run across, and this is the spine of the scapula. And the spine of the scapula runs right across here until it kind of levels out into a flat area. And that's about level with T3 here, the spine of the scapula. You can go on to the medial border, the vertebral border, whatever you would like to call it. It's referred to as both. And you can run up here onto the superior angle of the scapula or run down to the inferior angle of the scapula. This here is the lateral border of the scapula here. And these are the supraspinatus fossa and infraspinatus fossa. Fossa is like a hollow, so that's where your infraspinatus muscle would sit into, and that's where your supraspinatus would sit into. The scapula is an attachment point for lots of muscles, your delts, your traps, your rhomboids, obviously your rotator cuff. So that, everybody, is bony landmarking of the shoulder girdle. If you liked the video, please subscribe. Talk to you next time.